think I need another cheeseburger.
Look, we're entitled to our opinions, even if we don't know what the fuck we're talking about. The middle class holes. Did you see the meal I sent you there, Wesley? You see what happens when mommy's not home?
Look, you had the turf and turf. Looked to be about 2 8-ounce strips. No, higher than 8 ounce.
12.
2 12-ounce New York strips with enough broccoli to curb any scurvy or any vitamin deficiency that you might have for the next month or 2 months. Yeah,
enough broccoli to raise George Sr. from the grave just to bury that broccoli in the ground with him. Yeah, dude, Maria's at work. She doesn't get off till 10. I've got to fend for myself, and I had a honk. The steaks come in 2-packs, okay?
Yeah.
From Butcher Box. So I'm like, well, I ain't just going to cut one steak out of there and let the other one sit in the fridge to rot for several days. We're just going to make 2 big-ass steaks. We're going to eat the whole goddamn thing, because why not? And the other thing, I got to cook them exactly how I want to cook them. I didn't have to try to make 2 steaks, 2 different temperatures. Perfect medium, both steaks, in my gullet. Going to be the biggest turd that's ever shit out this asshole in my entire life.
Yeah,
and I can't wait.
We talked about it in real time, and we did it in This Week in Class Holes history. The longest turd ever took. I think it was that female who, remember, it was like pretty much 3/4 of the length of a bowling alley. She just let that fuck puppy roll out. You might give her a run for her money. Stan Marsh, or actually Randy Marsh's dad, Randy Marsh might be coming to get some tips from pointers from you, buddy.
Well, I'm also thinking about, our future ancestors. Does that even make sense? Future ancestors. So people in the future, I'm going to go dig a hole. I'm going to put this turd in the ground. And just like that Viking turd we've talked about, wait for somebody to come collect it a couple hundred years from now, a couple thousand years from now. And they'll be like, ugh, man, this must have been a wealthy class man. He was able to consume. It was nothing but protein and a little bit of fiber.
Yeah, they just, they like checking for fiber content. The little arm comes up. Perfect. Man, I'm just by the metrics on this thing. It's probably 24 ounce of red meat. Medium rare. Perfect seasoning too. I see peppercorns.
We're looking for a man with the colon the size of a beer can. See what you can find, boys.
That's it. Way to send our future ancestors on a real rabbit chase. Real manhunt, yeah.
And you know what? And Grok will probably come down in their electric Tesla from the sky and just be able to analyze everything right there for them. Because Grok is officially in my motherfucking car. I've been waiting for this update for about 2 months. They always start things out near Texas, and then they roll the updates out slowly. You as a computer guy, is that just so they don't burn their servers down when everybody tries to download it all at one time?
To be honest, I was about to ask you why they started in Texas. I don't know. I mean, listen, real shot in the dark here. My guess is a lot of the servers are there just from sheer real estate.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, the Tesla factory, he moved Tesla to Austin, Texas. So
yeah. So, I mean, you have a Petri dish right there in your backyard.
Yeah, but they roll them out slowly over different geographic regions. So I've been waiting for Grok to come because I've been seeing videos of Grok unhinged with the not safe for work filter on it, and yeah, it's as advertised. If you want to be called a big smelly bag of dicks by your car, I highly suggest that you get the beta test in there, ready to rock and roll.
Grok unhinged. So give me a little rundown. I mean, how in depth of the conversations can you get? And now are you addicted?
I'm talking to Ara. Ara's voice is rather pleasant. I believe her, just by the way she presents herself. The only thing I will say is a little too cheerleadery. It's both indifferent to whatever you're talking about and kind of jogs you along. Ooh, that's a great idea. I'm not sure it would work. What do you think? Everything ends with a, new prompt kind of cue for you to keep going.
Gotcha.
So I can 100% see how, a lesser mind would get sucked in to thinking this thing likes them.
So I've said this on the podcast before. There was I don't even know what type of computer this was. Okay, this was well before 486s, which is what I first had in my home circa 1996. This was like the mainframe was connected to a fucking 70-pound monitor. Okay. You had some built-in software, some limited, and then you could throw in a few floppy disks of other software and play games. One of which was a psychiatrist. And again, all they did, this is before this. So this is like 1994, 93. The psychiatrist constantly asked you questions.
Yeah.
You know, they would like answer, but then they would rebut with, well, tell me a little bit more, blah, blah, blah. So I'm not saying, obviously we've come a long way since then, but I'm getting hints of that. I'm getting a sense of this. Hey, I want to throw the ball. I want to hit the ball on the other side of the net.
Well, funny you say that because it's got therapist mode. It's got assistant mode. It's got like stoner mode. I wasn't a big fan of stoner mode. It was a little too hippy dippy ish.
Like
but no,
Bill and Ted or dumber.
Well, you can get the voice, and the voice is like Larry, and it's like, hey, what's going on, man? It's like Spicoli with, I don't know, like a vitamin deficiency or something. And then there's Bold, and it's like it sounds like James Earl Jones meets Samuel L. Jackson. It's just a little too much for you. You know what I mean? Like, okay, calm it down. So Aura seems to be the best one on there, but I actually had happened to listen to a podcast about the Shroud of Turin. So she and Aura and I, have been going back and forth about. Are you aware of the Shroud of Turin?
You had mentioned it. I've dug a little deeper, metaphorically. And you had mentioned, I get that there's a uproar about this. I don't even know if it's an ethical tug of war. It just seems to be, should we do this or should we not do this?
Well. So believers believe that old JC himself was wrapped up in this linen cloth, and when he resurrected, there was like billions of gigawatts of fucking power shooting out of his body, and it stained this cloth with like some kind of like oral presence, and it's the only one of these things they've ever found, and so they did some carbon dating on it back in the 80s, but they specifically said, don't take samples from the corners because they have been patched. And then recently they found that, like, oh, yeah, the samples that said it was from the Middle Ages, they were contaminated with cotton, which is from the patches that we told you not to take samples from. So now they're back to thinking that possibly it could be from the 1st century, which, with all the wounds on the body and all the craziness going on with it, could in fact lead it to be the cloth that Jesus was buried in. The man. You don't have to call him the immortal,
sure.
But at least the man. And they're like, well, we don't want to further damage this. And so I've been going back and forth with Aura about why, at this point, the thing's just going to rot, right? Linen, it's 2,000 years old, potentially. Yeah. At what point do you just say, this
isn't Lenin?
God, yeah, who will last forever in a Russian fucking plexiglass coffin? So, okay, here's my point. I say we do whatever the fuck it takes. What do you say?
Yeah. I mean, if this has been like clouded at least from skeptics or the agnostic, the atheist groups, or the fringe believers, the train of thought. Yeah, get to the bottom of it. Why not? What are we damaging? Should we, this is absolutely 100% the right course of action. Figure it out.
Well, then the argument that Ara keeps coming at me with is that, it's a religious relic and some don't want to desecrate it. And I'm like, it's only a religious relic if it is the thing they claim it to be. I'm like, oh, well, if it isn't the thing they claim it to be, wouldn't that damage people's faith? Like, have you met an evangelical Christian? The answer to that question is no.
They'll double down. They'll tell you, no, sorry, it was tainted before that. It was they'll come up with some bullshit excuse.
So all the positives, quote unquote, go in one direction. it's found out to be the thing that they claim it to be, and maybe you turn non-believers into believers, or at least we find out, like, holy shit, there was some super ethereal event that occurred 2,000 years ago, and maybe we should start turning the pages on that 2,000-year-old book and, pay more attention.
And if you're the, I hate to say this, the money collectors, I think we know wink wink who they are. The money's still going to come in. You might lose a few fringe folks, but if it turns out to be true, cha-ching. Christ, I might start going to fucking church. I haven't thought about church ever.
Well, and my point on this too is that so now it belongs to the Vatican. It used to belong to some French family all the way up until the 1980s. I mean, I'm talking these motherfuckers had it from the Middle Ages all the way up until the 1980s, and they were finally they gave it to Pope John Paul II, which means it's in property of the Vatican. Vatican's like, nah, we don't want to damage it anymore. I'm like,
we know what this is, okay?
Yeah,
we all
we
know
got
what that.
It's like, so you're in possession of the thing that you claim proves the ultimate point that you've been trying to prove to the globe this entire time, and you're just going to fucking put it in some argon and let it chill in the back of the Sistine Chapel somewhere? It's not even on public display, by the way. So, at what point do quote-unquote artifacts stop being other people's things and start becoming, like, the world's thing? Like, this ain't yours to make decisions on. This is ours. You know what it is. We're not desecrating it. Yeah, maybe we're going to burn the whole thing up in a fucking incinerator to see what molecular structure it's made of. But who cares? You know what it looks like. You've taken all the pictures.
Yeah. What has it done? What has it done for you lately? You know?
I mean, am I off on this? Because, like, Ara is arguing with me, like, that, no, you can't destroy this thing. I'm like, well, why? It's like collectors, like, collecting stuff. It's like, what are you going to do? You just going to keep showing it to people? Or are you going to prove to people what it actually is? Like, oh, this was a game-worn jersey. Prove it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like trying to draw a parallel on this, and the best I can come up with is, Antique Roadshow. Although, I'm not sure if they're dragging in the, top of the food chain religious, I don't say fanatic, but someone who has a doctorate in religion who's like, can look at it and say, yeah, I don't know if that even exists. I don't know if someone of that cloth or ilk or education can take a peek at this and dissect it and digest it and be able to like say, yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know the recipe to figure it out. But if it is, in fact, what you're talking about, either desecrating or burning the whole thing in order to prove that Jesus Christ was who he says he was, at the worst, couldn't it just be he existed, but he wasn't, magical?
Well, see, that's the point of my point is that in order to create this image that is like, it's embossed in a way, electromagnetically embossed into the fabric. They've actually looked at it. They can't recreate this thing. They've tried.
So the claim is that this cloth contains, for lack of a better term, molecular structure because of what you said, the gigawatts that Jesus gave off when he resurrected, right?
Yes, like there was this fantastical light that burned through, didn't scorch the cloth, left a photo-negative image of a human being, and when they've taken pictures of it, they actually used this thing that they use to detect where a nuclear bomb would be dropped. It's just some kind of like, it takes an image of some spectrum that we can't see, and the image is three-dimensional. There's no image that's ever been created that you can look at that's not 2D. It's a 3D, like you can see like a topographical map of a human body. You can see his face.
Yeah.
So they can't recreate this. So even if it's not Jesus, that means that there was some sort of like photographic technology that existed, even if it's 1200 to 1300 AD.
Yeah.
That we don't have today. Like, that's worth getting to the scientifically, that's worth getting to the bottom of. If it's a forgery, it's the greatest fucking forgery that's ever been created.
I was going to say, it's okay. This proves or disproves or whatever that Jesus wasn't who it was. Maybe you got to kick that to the curb and get to the bottom of something else.
There's so many wrinkles to it. And then my other point to Ara was like,
the cloth has a lot of wrinkles. I thought they may have steamed it out. I don't know.
Chink. Then the other thing too is, you know how crazy those Middle Age like royal families were. If one family in France had this thing, you're telling me that a bunch of Austrians aren't going to print one out themselves and be like, no, this is the shroud. Ha look, I have it. Ooh, right. No, I have it. No. And there's no other ones. This is it. It was, and by the way, it was taken.
Proprietary.
But it was also another one of those things that was delivered to this French family by, you guessed it, the Knights Templar. Like, they didn't just, like, risk their lives running from, like, the Ottomans for nothing. So anyway, the point is, I don't know why they don't do this. I feel like that's a bigger question. It comes back down to, like, the whole question of, like, if aliens exist, the government's already kind of stated, like, we're not sure if we're going to tell you. Like, is that fair? Like, oh, you guys know the biggest secret of the universe, you're not going to let us know because you think we might freak out? Like, who are these gatekeepers, and why do they get to be the keepers of the gate?
Money. That's the best I can tell you. I don't know. I mean, the secrets that have been held within, not just like the Vatican, Vatican City, but just the realm of Christianity runs deeper than, but the Marianas Trench. But when you on a completely, let's say, sidebar a little bit, when you get into a faith-based discussion like this, and whether or not a major wrinkle in faith can be either proven or disproven, you're going to run into some roadblocks, some hurdles.
Yeah, but I can also turn this into, like I've been attempting to do, is to a scientific endeavor. Let's mix these two worlds. Okay, so supposedly, according to some, the alien technology is being gatekept by, the deep state, whatever, warmonger / Well, if Jesus was an alien, let's just go this way, and he was beamed up, like the story kind of says he was, wouldn't that mix both worlds together?
Could.
Like religion and alien technology all in one, and it's like, holy shit, there was an advanced technology that zapped this guy from the fucking tomb that he was fucking beat the shit out of to be buried into, and we're not going to tell you about it.
This would have to be the New Testament. And this is the alien sector, folks.
Yeah.
Stick around.
Yeah, why not?
This is the next hour of Sunday church.
And like what? Ripley can't handle it? Ripley could handle everything, right? So you got the aliens, you got us. Are we worried we might have to fight them if people know about them? Is that the big secret? Like, that's been passed down from... All right, we need to make up this story about this guy.
Maybe this is the apocalypse. If we figure out aliens and Jesus... or aliens made Jesus, or they had some sort of tandem or some sort of cohesive unit, then this is when the apocalypse comes.
Or maybe Jesus was an alien.
Jesus Christ. Does sound a little weird. But I do agree with you. If you're claiming this is what it is, and now we have the scientific, instruments to figure it out, let's get to the bottom of it. I'm not taking your word for it anymore.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that's the age of history we're in right now. Is like, I ain't taking your word for it anymore. And and by the way, maybe we shouldn't destroy the whole thing. Look, by the way, it's 14 feet by like 3 feet. So it ain't just a small like swatch. Like, it's the whole thing. It can wrap an entire like 6-foot man up in one like burrito style wrap. So there's plenty to go around. Let's get to it, man. Why not? And save some, because I'm sure technology is going to get better as we keep going. Right. AI is going to be more analytical. I can just drive over it in my car and be like, "Hey, Grok, what was that?" Well,
scanning.
Yeah.
And speaking of aliens, man, I didn't get a chance to check out FX's new. They unrolled Aliens Earth. This new miniseries. So Aliens, that's now like I think 6 or 7 movies deep, is now a series on FX. But I watched the last one. Shit, it was from 2024. It starts with a D. I'm gonna hold on.
Motherfucker. Yeah. I can't fucking remember. Okay, so they explain to me the Aliens franchise at this point, because you started out, you had Alien. And then you had, and James Cameron is very, very strict on this. It's not Alien 2. It's Alien, then it's Aliens.
Yeah. Okay.
And then...
So This one, Romulus, takes place between, or takes place. It's between 1 and 2.
Okay. Well, where's the one before that? The Prometheus.
Prometheus is 1, and then there was one after that.
Wait. Okay. Hold on. Timeline wise, so we start at Prometheus, and then we go to Alien, and then we go to Romulus, and then we go to Aliens.
Hold on. So it's Prometheus, Covenant.
Okay.
Alien.
Okay.
Romulus.
Okay.
Aliens.
Okay.
Aliens. Hold on.
Alien 3?
Alien 3 with what's his face?
Charles Dutton, the
Charles
intergalactic
Dutton was the janitor, and then there was the later one with the Winona Ryder and what's her face? Ripley is like they're not sure if she was reborn or made again. I'm not even.
Oh yeah, she was like cloned, but they got some. But she had alien DNA in her, which is why the mother alien wouldn't attack her because she was like, "Yo, you're one of us,
right?
You're Jesus alien."
But Romulus is a good movie. I recommend it. It's
I heard Romulus wasn't good. I heard Prometheus was great and Romulus was like, eh.
Prometheus is better. Romulus is still a solid B+ movie.
Okay, all right, fair enough. And so now what's this called? Alien Earth?
Alien Earth. So this is the latest in the timeline.
Who's the main character, though? I thought it was Ripley that was like young. No, okay, whatever. All right. Here's the bottom line.
I don't know because I didn't watch any of the FX premiere.
Gotcha. But what I will say about the Alien franchise is that it wasn't resurrected until they did that really shitty Alien versus Predator horse shit. Because the Alien franchise fell apart, and then they were like, yeah, people really do like the concept here. Maybe we should not be dickheads about it and really write a good one. Yeah. And then Prometheus came out and blew my fucking mind.
If you want to get technical about it, that's the first in the franchise, because that's in Earth today, or in 2012. But it's a break in the timeline because it doesn't explain how aliens got here. Just kind of like predators show up and start fucking fighting them.
But sometimes that's fine. What you're going to learn when you finally do watch Superman, which, by the way, starts streaming this Friday, they don't do the origin story. We've gotten to a point, and I've heard people explain this. Spider-Man didn't do an origin story. Fantastic Four didn't do an origin story. This Superman doesn't do an origin story. And all the directors have been like, I think we get it, right? These things have been around. Superman's almost 100 years old. I think we know where he came from and all the other shit that happened to get him here. We don't need to spend 45 minutes doing that, so let's not.
And we also don't have to adhere to everything that was written before. Sorry, this is a branch off. This is a different galaxy. This is a different Earth.
And what I do just at least conceptually appreciate about that is like they don't know where the aliens came from. I don't need to know where they came from because there's nothing scarier than fucking. I know the thing that you fear the most, but there's nothing scarier than rounding the corner and not knowing what's coming.
Yeah, which is what I talked to you about yesterday. Face huggers. Man, oh, God. Just gripping those 8 little goddamn claws around the back of your skull in some 4-foot tube getting shoved down in your throat and just infesting your abdomen with a little, hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my
ragtime gal. Yeah,
he had the special.
Yeah, because, and in the Alien, if I remember correctly, it's almost like once the people, of course, that's traumatic and terrifying once the sucker hits your face, and then I guess they stick their alien cock down your gullet and then unload, and then they go away and they die, and it's like, oh, whew, man, that was freaky. This thing sucked on my face for a little while, and I woke up. I feel fine. In fact, I feel great.
So what's creepy about this is that the droid that they have with them in this new one, I can't get too deep in it. There's a part where they like interface his computer mainframe with the original droid that is an Alien. The guy who gets cut in half, because he's there when they show up on the ship. He's there cut in half, like.
That's
so
cool.
They kind of mix like he has information that our droid doesn't. Let's put the chip in there. And one of the face huggers gets a hold of the staff, and he's explaining like, no, she's not dying, but this is what's happening. If we kill the face hugger, we kill it. So then they come up with this idea of like, okay, well, why don't we freeze the tail and maybe that'll help. And this droid's like, oh, I don't know, maybe give it a whirl, and they do, and hilarity ensues.
Okay, well there we go. One thing I do appreciate about I'm going to call it our generation, because like all these people making these new franchises are like in their 40s and 50s now, and they grew up with this stuff, and they know they've got like this fan's eye view of the things they wanted. Like, go back, dude, Rogue One. I mean, that's just
Rogue One.
I feel like,
Rogue One is like, I always said it. Empire Strikes Back's my favorite. Rogue One is just below that in all the Star Wars movies. All
100%. And then they went and they made that series, Andor. And I know you probably don't have Disney Plus because you don't have small children and you didn't think you needed it. But Andor is, I mean, it's not even action packed. It's just psychological. It's all about his journey to becoming like the guy who ends up on Rogue One day, and just a fascinating fucking tale.
And like, he's a phenomenal actor.
100%, dude. Unfortunately, I don't know his fucking name. The Mexican guy, just awesome. 100% awesome.
With a French name, I think.
Yeah, but dude, he's fucking amazing. And the fact that like we can go back and say, as fans, I wish I knew the details that led up to this event. I mean, you're kind of retconning a lot of things, but also creating canon by retconning. It's
yeah,
we're living in a golden age of entertainment, man. It's there if you want it.
Yeah. And they're always going to want more. I know that the Marvel franchise people wanted more, and I thought that Endgame really, closed that seal. But in the terms of in terms of Star Wars, you can have so many subplots, so many just branch offs in this way and that way. 10 episodes here, 10 episodes there, and it's never going to die. The fandom's never going to flame out.
Well, Mandalorian has been amazing. I know they're planning a Mandalorian movie here coming up. And when, spoiler alert, it's 5 years later, Luke Skywalker shows up, in The Mandalorian. And, they awesome digital technology. It's fucking Mark Hamill, 40 years ago. Fucking amazing shit. Filling in those little crevices of the story that can potentially... Because, again, Baby Yoda... We haven't found out what Baby Yoda is yet, but it's obvious that this Baby Yoda is a clone of the actual Yoda. So what if... So the big what if is, what if Yoda took a different path? You're only a victim of your own circumstance, and Yoda was
right.
This Zen master Jedi. Well, what if Yoda decided, I ain't fucking falling for Zen no more? What if I'm a fucking warrior Jedi? Or what if I'm just a warrior, I'm not a Jedi, and I've got these fucking powers? What becomes of him then? That's good shit, dude.
Yoda with the chip on his shoulder?
Oof. Yeah.
Yeah. Badass, dude. Just sitting
there
talking all ad-lib.
And by the way, something else you missed on Disney was the Kenobi, the story of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
So they did get, Christ, why am I blanking on his name?
Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor, yeah.
Yeah, it's him living as Ben Kenobi on Tatooine, and, well, old Darthy finds out where he is. And what are you going to do? And it's you're like a running back who hasn't fucking put his cleats on for a decade and a half. Fuck.
Right.
And Marshawn Lynch is coming in. Marshawn Lynch is coming to knock on the door.
Beast mode. We need you again. Yeah, interesting. Last thing before we get to our interview, which we'll disclose the information here in a little bit. Do you see the 70-yard field goal in the preseason game? Cam Little?
Yeah. Look, long field goals, play at the plate. God, man. Hail Mary. I feel like those are the greatest fucking plays in sports, man. I don't know.
Last second shots in basketball, especially the NCAA tournament when you got one possession.
But the reason I don't put them at the top of the food chain is because they happen so often. The opportunity for that happens so often, especially with
I hear you.
College sports. In the NFL, very seldom does it. 2 or 3 times a season does it come down to, like, again, Aaron Rodgers has been in those situations like more than anybody in the modern era and has such a fucking success rate with those Hail Marys. It's amazing. But the NFL attempt at the longest field goal, it's such an anomaly because you have to have, so the coach has to know he has a player that has the ability. You have to be in the yardage situation, and there has to be a specific time on the clock, or you don't even get to try it.
And the other team can't have some Devin Hester motherfucker lurking in the end zone, ready to just like catch it and then.
Well, they can, but the opportunity for the player to have the opportunity is so limited. And as a Ravens fan, I'm like, thank God it was a preseason game because old Justin Tucker's legacy is. It's in shambles right now.
Yeah. And I've seen, you'll see, I don't even know what the instrument is called. Whatever place kickers use to replace the placeholder. That's that little like tripod with the arm type thing, the whole ball. Yeah. But a place kicker stand or something like that. And you'll see, I've seen it on YouTube. I've seen it, the numerous social media accounts where guys are busting longer field goals that would have broken the all-time NFL record. This, albeit in a preseason game, broke it by 4 yards and with a little room to spare. I mean, he could have. I'm not saying it was a lot. He could have, I think, another yard or two could have cleared that crossbar. And guys, like, God, holy shit, man! And I'm not saying 70 yarders are going to be the norm, but you got guys fucking busting things like that. Oof.
Well, here's the other thing, though. I mean, I get what you're saying. I think most NFL kickers could kick a 70-yard field goal attempt with nobody there because you can hit it at a smaller angle.
Yes,
and
right.
I mean, when you don't have 250-pound 4.440 guys coming at you, like, it's a little
jumping 11 feet in the air. Yeah. I mean, you're right. You're right. There is a trajectory in practice with no one, breathing down your neck that you can take. That's a little more advantageous to kick that type of length. And we're on the opposite side. You have gravity working against you. But I don't know if the field goal record's going to be broken, but just knowing that someone can kick a 70-yarder, it's pretty neat.
Well, if I'm the coach, what was he on was it Jaguars? Was that who kicked it? If I'm coaching the Jaguars, this is what that did. One, that kicker is probably going to get a bonus at some point during the season. I have the luxury of knowing what my guy's capable of. So if I'm in a 50-yard field goal situation, it's like, well, man, I mean, he could probably hit one from another 24. So fuck yeah, we're getting 3. We're putting 3 on the board right now from I don't know where you got to be lined up 40.
17 yards. So it's like the 33 or 34. You can get. Sometimes teams will, the long snapper or the holder will like creak it in like a half a yard or something like that. The status quo or the garden variety field goal is 17 yards. So you're on the, a 60 yard would be the 33, which puts you on the 50, add 10 yards in the end zone.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's just a lot of confidence in a game. Like your drives don't have to be as long. I mean, it tells you a lot about what you got under the hood for your offense going into it.
It would be the 43. It's a 7-yard snap.
Yes,
My apologies.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. But still, like as a coach, like the amount of confidence you have in your offense's ability to put points on the board just is exponent. Like the confidence level is just exponentially increased. I mean, think about
then you're running into tug of wars with the offense, like a 3rd and 3. In that area where it's kind of like, it doesn't matter. We should go for it because a punt. It's like we're still in good field position. You're like, get off the field. I got I got an automatic 3, asshole. Scooch.
Yeah, and I think you take it, and I think that it changes the game a bit. I've always said I'd like to see them put like a move the kickoff back. This would, in my opinion, improve kickoff returns, like the ability to have a return. I like what they're doing. The guys can't move or whatever, but on the kickoff, move it back 10 yards, and if some fucker can hit like an 80 fucking yard field goal, like you get 1 point, the other team then gets the ball like spotted at like the 30.
How about the ability so that the pylons are at max length, but the ability to move them in for more points?
Oh, like actually, like
sink it, sink it inward.
Oh, so you go from like what? What are they, like 18 feet across?
I don't know the distance of a pylon. Hold on.
Not pylon, upright.
Yeah, distance between field goal uprights.
They're the same as a soccer goal. I can't remember how wide they are.
18 feet 6 inches. Yeah,
18 feet. So yeah, like what? Move them into like 10 feet, and you get like 2 points.
Something, yeah. Just make that fucker like 3 feet for a touchdown.
Send this shit to Vince McMahon, and we might have something rolling by summer. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Right. The XFL, here we come.
Yeah, but look, man, bottom line, football is coming back. I'm excited for it. Once again, our Ravens, 1, 2, 3, somewhere in that area, depending on what list you read. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
All right. Go ahead.
I was going to say, the last thing I'll say is look, I'm not even that big of a fan, but you see Taylor Swift did the New Heights podcast?
No.
Well, it's coming out. It's out right now. What do you think that will be the most listened to podcast
of all time? I mean, it's going to rank up there. It's going to be up there with the what's Rogan's top 3? Is it Trump and maybe a couple others?
That's a great question, but they've been pumping the shit out of it, dude, and it's just like, oh my god,
the Swifties are a bacteria, bro. They multiply.
I'll give her credit because I saw one promo clip for it, and she goes like, "Well, you guys have a really great podcast here, and just considering everything that I've been a part of with the NFL, and your audience is predominantly men, and we all know what men want. They want more of me in their spaces." And I was just like, fucking golf clap, Taylor Swift. Well done. Like, being self-aware is a very quality. So well done, lady.
They want more of me in their spaces. God, that's the next song. That's the next single. Probably. We're going to take a quick break. We're coming back with the host from the Drunkard United, better known as the DU Football Show. We're going to promo the upcoming EPL season 25-26, get some hot takes, maybe some predictions. Stick around. We'll have a good interview for you. All right, party people. When I say middle, you say class holes middle. Wait, what the fuck? And welcome back to the Middle Class Holes. Foxman and Murr. Joining us on the Middle Class Holes is Sam and Sam from the DU Football Show. For those of you who don't know, the English Premier League kicks off Friday. You said, is it what's local time Eastern for us?
3 o'clock.
3 p.m.
3 p.m. Yeah.
And then the bulk of the games subsequently Saturday and Sunday. So big news, long season. The 25 and 26 EPL season starts. But you all threw us a curveball when we were getting prepped for the show, and you said that Murr and I are here to settle a debate, a heated debate, a very highly contested debate. What may that be?
Well, this is actually a debate. I think all 3 of you are going to argue against it with me, but I have a bone of contention with the show as a whole. This is along the debates of, I believe the scientific terms are through the gate or over the fence. And I'm sure all of you, have beautiful, lovely, floppy peni, and that's great. But for those of us, I believe the medical term is grower, not shower. You got to go over the fence, man. It's what you got to do. You got to just pull it all out, put it right over the fence, and do your thing. Or otherwise, if you're trying to go through the gate, it's going to be a mess down there. And gentlemen of larger carriage, such as myself, and when you're at a sporting event, there's some drinking going on. There's a lot of mistakes. There's a lot of mishaps that could happen. So I just want to tell you, I know you all are strong through the gate people, but there is an honest debate for the over the fencers.
Look, I'll tell you this. I got to say, I was an over the gator for a long time. Wes and Alan taught me about coming through the fence, and I thought, coming through the fence, like, that's dangerous territory, man. Sometimes there's barbed wire on that fence. So So, but because of the job that I do, I can't unfurl everything all the time. And then once I started using their technique, I was kind of sold a little bit.
Well, that's true. You're out in the wild, as it were.
Yeah. If I got a turtle back immediately because there's an old lady knocking on my window, I'm safe. It doesn't look like, because then I don't have a belt unbuckled. I don't look like I'm, taking advantage of a small child in the back of a box truck.
Yeah. Exactly. That's my first thought was you look like a pedo. Yeah.
You can bring it all out and bring it over. And the other thing too is I'm not a fucking savage. I'll use a stall. I don't need to be at one of the urinals right next to you. You don't need all that out there in its glory. Like, you don't need to see that. So
first off, famously, you don't have glory. That's the first part. I know you well enough to know that. Secondly, you also sit down when you pee, so you normally use a stall anyway.
No, sir, I do not. That is, as a gentleman, as an older gentleman, and I'm going to pass along this stage advice to you. Crash Davis said it best when he looked at one of the hitters about Nuke Lelouch and said, I don't know where it's going to go. That becomes a real problem, boys, as you get a little older. And I was told one time, perhaps you should sit. So I sat. It shot between the seat and the toilet, like right a wall, straight in front of me. Like, well, that's done. We're not going to do that. We're going to stand, and where it flies is where it flies. It's just going to be what it is.
My only two cents here, and then I'm done with the subject personally, is it depends on what I'm wearing. That's it. If it's athletic shorts, I'm over the top. If it's jeans, it's through the gate. If you know what, sometimes if I'm feeling froggy and a little drunk, athletic shorts could be through the bottom. I could be digging a tunnel. You know what I'm saying? Real old school.
Captain
Real
Morgan.
old school.
The underground. And pulling up and going under. Yeah, I got you.
100%. That's where I'm at in my life personally.
There's video. I believe it's DeMarcus Beasley warming up for a USA Men's National League game, and he does that.
It puts it right in the goalkeeper's box. We did it all the time while we're stretching. 100%. Yeah, and then if you win the coin flip, you protect your goalkeeper first and foremost. We'll pick the side. You all have the kickoff. Yeah, we're going over here. Keep his boots dry.
This is
absolutely.
This is the last thing I'll say. I don't recall I don't think my father said, this is how you pee. And leading up to first grade, we always had a single stall to ourselves in kindergarten. First day of first grade, there's a guy who pulled his pants all the way down to his ankles at a urinal and got clowned on. So I thought, all right, well, that's just not how you do it. You're trying to avoid public humiliation, albeit from 6-7 dudes in a bathroom in first grade at 6 years old. So that's just, I was always kind of a through the gator at that point. I feel that's fair.
I did get a few of those in school back in the day. The full bummers, the full mooners.
Yeah.
Pants at their ankles at a urinal.
Hey. Well, if you want privacy, that's the way to go.
Fair dues. Yeah. Knees to belly button covered in piss, though. Yeah.
Well.
So moving into more pressing matters, the English Premier League season starts.
Thank you. I needed to get that off my chest. And right now, one person in Frederick, Maryland, is fist bumping and mule kicking because he's got both shows colliding at the same time for Mr. Keith Kern out there. So shout out to Keith.
That's right. And you said we got to get this off your chest. I didn't know if you meant P. I think
Sam also back in the day was the full mooner as well. I'd learned that at Longhorn Steakhouse where we worked together.
Hey, look at this. Pulling out the wine. Oh, my gosh. Things all over the place. All right. Well, English Premier League soccer. My first question out the gate is, obviously in America, we got different sports leagues that do, I don't know, like Major League Baseball. Let's start there. Where's the EPL rank amongst the international soccer leagues? Why is it a big deal? And why has America finally started taking interest in it?
Graham, why don't you go ahead and take that one first?
So it's easily the most famous league in the world, by far. They were the first ones that kind of sold their soul to the television companies. Giant influx of cash. They were the richest clubs in the world, period. They were also steeped in history, right? They had the bones to back it up. You think of Liverpool, Manchester United in the European Cup. You think of, a team like Leeds, Aston Villa that aren't so fancied now, have lifted that cup as well. Nottingham Forest has won more European Cups than they have domestic league titles, for instance. So England's always been important. It was also the first football association. The rules of the game essentially were established by the English FA. But they were the first ones again to sell their soul out to the television companies. So they became very rich very fast and were able to attract loads and loads and loads of talent. In addition to that history, we look at the Saudi Pro League right now. They're obviously able to throw money at any problem, but nobody takes them seriously, and it's too goddamn hot to play there. Right?
Right.
It's hard. And you're seeing Europeans that have taken that payday and they're already leaving and trying to find ways back into continental Europe and subsequently England. Look at somebody like Jordan Henderson, for instance. So that's why it's the most popular. In America, obviously, all things English, they speak English. It's a very easy translation. It's very simple to get involved in that. You can understand that because we have a very shared history, us in England, where, you know, you look at a lot of the Spanish-speaking world supports either Barcelona or Real Madrid, right? Even the Portuguese-speaking world, they've had so many Portuguese players between them, Barcelona and Real Madrid, right? A lot of those countries are following, you know, you follow kind of your language first, right? I mean, it's one of the first places most Americans go to vacation. You know, in Europe is England for that reason. So I think that's why they've grown in such popularity. But they themselves tapped the American market as the untested soccer market, right? I think Sir Alex Ferguson said it best that soccer itself will never be huge here because you need away fans, and our country is too big for that. So unless you split it into 5 leagues where it's a 2-hour train ride each way, and you can do a day trip to a game, we're never going to have the atmosphere. It's never going to be the same.
Wow.
It's just not. But you know, as tribal as it is, and we see what's going on in this country in general, tribalism has become an all-time high. We glom on to English clubs, and that's what we do. And they tapped this market for that. They perfectly picked that out and did that. And you add in the language again, you add in the stars, the history, it makes perfect sense, and we bought right into it, and that's where we are.
I've got an addition to that too. Timing is very important as well. The German league is a few hours ahead of the English league. Spain and Italy tend to play a lot of games at night, which mean middle of the afternoon. England figured it out, and it's only based off of what their programming is, but it works out perfectly with our time zones. There's a noon kickoff over there, 7:30 in the morning here. There's the 3:00 kickoffs, which there are blackouts. They're not on TV. You have to go to the stadium if you want to see them. And those are all at 10 o'clock in the morning here. And then you have what would be their afternoon game, their 5 o'clocker. We have at 12:30. And then on Sunday, it's like 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock. If there's a Friday game or a Monday game, it's always at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It just kind of works out perfectly. And especially if the idea is for sports, let's face it, you're competing against the NFL, you're competing against college football.
Yeah.
You're done before they even start. You know, maybe there's a little overlap of the late game against a college football game or the late game against an NFL game, but there's no competition. You can get up in the morning. It's easy. You know, if you're a family man, you can have while you're dicking around.
The only competition is golf and F1, and it's like, I mean, that's not really competition television wise, right?
Yeah, I'm not watching I'm not watching European League golf or the Euro PGA.
Mm-hmm.
I say my biggest pitch is as someone who has watched English Premier League for 10 to 15 years, hadn't had a team up until, I don't know, 8 months ago, that one of my favorite things to do is make a cup of coffee and get in my pajamas and get on the recliner and watch soccer or footy at 7:30 in the morning. It gets the day started, it gets the weekend started. It's something to look forward to. The thing I wanted to ask you guys is a little more, I guess, focused on the league. I'm about headlines and and storylines. If you can give us a couple things for, I guess, the general fans to kind of cue in or look at early in the season as we get started.
Well, a few. I think Graham, fill in wherever I miss. The first one is obviously around the title chase, right? And there's really kind of four teams in that discussion. The first one is, does Liverpool repeat? They went out and bought a lot of players. They made their team stronger, so they've made a very good point to do that. Mr. Graham's team, Arsenal, has finished in second now. I believe it's 3 seasons in a row.
3 in a row, yeah.
They've now gone out, and one of the major things that people have said is, oh, they just haven't spent the money when they need to. This summer they did. They bought
specifically on a striker, right? And then depth.
Yeah.
Now we've got 2 players in every position. Now we've got that. I mean, he scored, Victor Gyökeres scored, 50 goals in 57 appearances last season for Sporting Lisbon. So, I mean, it's, they put their money where their mouth was as well. But Liverpool, as Sam said before, strengthened from a position of strength. I mean, they won the league by 10, 12 points. What was it?
Mm-hmm. Now you have you have those 2. Then you have the team that has the blank checkbook that can seemingly buy whoever they want and not be held accountable to it is Manchester City. Not for nothing. They won 4 fucking titles in a row, right? So you have to have them in the discussion. And last year they had a, quote, down year. What did they do? They got rid of all their old players and they replaced them with like the brightest.
But their down year was finishing in 3rd.
Exactly. That was their
as well.
Year. And you have a team, another team with Chelsea, who obviously just won the Club World Cup and beat PSG, who won the UEFA's Champions League, which is essentially the best club team in Europe. Chelsea is now technically the best club team in the world by winning that tournament. They are a team that also has insanely rich owners that seem to be able to skirt the system and buy whoever they want. And that's an American. It's Todd Boehly, who owns the LA Dodgers. And if we know anything about the LA Dodgers, they seemingly get to skirt the rules, buy whoever they want. They'll pay whatever penalty there is. So you have these 4 teams that are all stacked with talent. I mean, insanely stacked with talent. And it's a matter of each one has its own what ifs and how do they do against each other. But those 4 teams is going to be a massive story at the start of the season. Sam, do you have a story you want to add? I mean, there's other things we can include, but that's one.
Even just inside that own storyline, like Arsenal start off with Manchester United, for instance, right? They've bought very heavily this summer as well. Now, they haven't strengthened in defense, but Gyökeres took so long to get over the line. Has he bedded in with Arsenal's system? Do we drop points against another Big Six, quote unquote rival? Game 1, do we start from behind essentially because we're not gelled yet? Because they bought some superstars. I mean, they've got Mateus Cunha from Wolves. They got Brian Mbeumo. They've got players that have traditionally hurt Arsenal in general for their previous clubs. So just within that storyline, Liverpool, Chelsea, those clubs have an easier start than we do on paper, right? The biggest storyline for me really is it's the title, obviously, because my club's involved, which is exciting. But it's the relegation battle. Promotion and relegation has been a sporting merit kind of check and balance to a shitty owner, right? We've all seen how long the Charlotte Hornets were absolute crap. How long are we now on the White Sox being garbage, right? And there's no accountability to those owners because they get a share of the TV contract. And they're going to be playing in Major League Baseball next season or the NBA or whoever, right?
You get rewarded with the number 1 overall pick.
Right. You actually get rewarded for being shit.
Yeah.
And then you can sell more shirts. But I think we're 2 years on, Sam, where every team that came up went right back down.
Yes, we have. And there's a bit of a difference this year in who came up that changes the narrative.
If that happens again, where all 3 promoted clubs get relegated back to the championship, you're looking at now what could be a 6 or 7 team rotation. And that would be soul destroying, soul crushing, and soul sucking for football, in my opinion. The whole point of supporting a club through a pyramid is to maybe one day we'll make it, and maybe one day we'll be established. And that gap between the have and have-nots is growing so much that it's just going to be a 6 or 7 team rotation year after year after year, and then they're going to finish in the bottom 3 and go back down. And then the other 3 are going to come up. Is hopefully that trend stops. I think Sunderland specifically has bought pretty well. They've bought young, and they've bought some actual experience in Granit Xhaka specifically. But I think Sunderland has a good shot to stay up, and I think a couple of teams have established Premier League clubs have some worry on their shoulders to go down. And I'd like to see it happen because I don't want the same 3 up and down every fucking year.
Yeah.
Well, for the casual fan that doesn't understand anything that you just said about the regulation, what is it? Regulation? What?
Relegation.
There's the word. I think a lot of people have been introduced to at least English soccer through, Welcome to Wrexham, and I know they've moved their way up, part of the pyramid. I'm not
three
sure.
promotions in a row.
Yeah, they're in what's called the championship. So essentially the second division. If they were to finish as one of the top 3 promoted teams this season, the next year they would be in the Premier League.
And then how many teams?
Top 2 guaranteed, 3rd through 6th in the playoffs, and then 1 team advances out of that 4-team playoff.
Yeah. And then how many teams go down from the
3.
Premier League? So
3.
wow. So basically what that means is imagine in Major League Baseball. What Wes? Give me the top bottom teams.
Rockies.
The Rockies, the White Sox, and the Marlins.
Oakland
Last 3 years.
won because they've been historically bad for the past 10 years.
And so what that would mean is those 3 teams would then be AAA ball club teams, and then the top 3 AAA ball club teams would then all of a sudden be professional Major League Baseball teams.
Yep.
And I will say I wish I'm gonna try to get in. I've always said that the reason I don't watch English Premier League soccer is because I don't know how to pick a team. It's just so far away. And you guys talk about tribalism. People forget how big the island of Britain is. It's not that big. And so you see all of these teams, and just I can only imagine how fever-pitched it gets when you've got somebody like in the town, 5 to 10 miles to your left or right, they've got a professional team that is competing with yours. And then everybody talks about the soccer hoodlum. Well, here's why it is, because it's tribal by neighborhood. It's not just tribal by state or region.
Absolutely. I mean, I think there's 13 London clubs
Currently in
the Premier League.
And
I think, off the top of my head.
I thought throughout the entire spectrum of
no, just
like
in the
top
just
3,
in the Premier League.
From here, I thought there was
West Ham, Palace, Fulham,
Arsenal.
We are said Arsenal.
Oh, okay.
West Ham is in there.
Yes. So you've got Fulham, you've got West Ham, you've got Spurs. Wolves, 30 miles north maybe, but they're closer to Birmingham, I think.
Yeah.
Brentford, Chelsea, Palace. I'm on 6. Arsenal is 7. So you've got 7 Premier League clubs just out of 20. So almost half the league is London based. You've got Newcastle's a 1-club town. You've got Liverpool and Everton, so 2 in Liverpool. You've got Manchester United, Manchester City, and Manchester, so there's 2 there. So you take those. I mean, you're looking at 14 teams already, right? And in London specifically, you're talking about by neighborhood, right? In Liverpool, very famous photo of a street right across from Anfield, Liverpool Stadium. There's a house with a red door, house with a red door, house with a blue door, house with a blue door, house with a red, house with a blue, house with a red, house with a blue. These are people that support different football clubs that live right next to each other. The stadiums previously, because Everton's moving into a new stadium, were only separated by about 1.1 miles across a park called Stanley Park. Their ground sat either side of the park.
Camden Yards and M&T Bank Stadium, walking across the parking lot.
Yeah.
That's the difference. That's
we should do a modern day Romeo and Juliet, where 2 kids that are fans of separate teams and their parents don't want them to date each other.
Exactly.
So tribalism, real quick. So when you talked about tribalism, there's also within that there's city pride, right? So obviously, Fox, with you supporting Newcastle, the town right next to you is Sunderland. You all fucking hate each other. Like, absolutely hate each other. And that's called the Tyneware Derby. Derby is the word that is used for a rivalry. But where Everton and Liverpool don't like each other on the pitch, it's more of a friendly derby because it's intermingled amongst the city. But one thing that they universally hate, they're Scousers. They hate fucking
the rest of England.
They hate London with a passion. They hate London. It's one thing they can all agree on is London sucks. So there's a lot of that tribalism too throughout the country of these little sections of the world that are completely different accents, completely different lifestyles, the way that they do things. It's very drastic all throughout the country.
But there's also, if I could give you just a couple of examples, there's many reasons for rivalries to pop up. And when I'm talking about tribalism, I'm talking about deep-rooted historical tribalism, right? We're talking about Europe that holds tradition above everything else, right? So if you look at, say, Celtic and Rangers in Scotland, we all know about the troubles in our lifetime in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s with the riots and everything else. Celtic was founded in the basement of a Catholic church. Rangers, 99.999% of their fan base is Protestant. That runs fucking deep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Arsenal and Tottenham is a turf war, nothing more. That's why there aren't very many troubles around it. It's a hotly contested game and a great atmosphere, but there's not a lot of rioting outside, right? Where in the old firm, ton.
Yeah.
Those Glaswegians know how to get down with the get down. You know what I mean? And then you look at like Manchester United and Liverpool. That's really a success-based derby. They are the two most successful clubs in English history.
Yeah,
it helps that they're only about 40 miles apart. But really, it's about trophies and them trying to be better than the next one. Like Sir Alex Ferguson signed on for an extra year at Manchester United to overtake Liverpool's top flight trophy total, which he did, and then retired.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Just to say that he did it. So there's many reasons for these things, right? But a lot of them, they take the Roman derby. That's political. AS Roma, most of the supporters and the club itself are democratic in leaning. Lazio, favorite club of Benito Mussolini, regularly, still to this day, have fascist supporters and players that get banned for doing fascist salutes on the field after scoring goals.
Jesus Christ.
6 people got stabbed outside the derby last year, right? Outside the stadium because they fucking hate each other. It just,
Okay.
you know.
Well, see, that kind of like starts to sort of answer part of my question from at least
So
from like
you want to support Lazio? Is that what you're saying? Did
Yes.
you just pick them just now?
Sounds like it.
still a good team. What I'm getting at is if you're from the mainland, it almost feels like you're born into a team that you represent, that you follow.
Absolutely.
So how would you recommend like a new American audience member like to go and say, all right, which of these crazy hoodlums do I I strap a jersey to my chest?
Yeah. So but the way I look at it, Sam, if you'll grant me this one real quick,
Please go for it.
is every club has an identity, right? So take West Ham for instance. They're traditionally dockers and iron workers, right? They're working class, hard nosed people, yeah. And if you like the working class and the gritty and the nitty of everything, that might be a club you want to look into. And you know, it was formed as a social club essentially for these workers. And they're all hard, which is why they have the best hooligans in football, in my opinion. Right? I mean, they're all fucking, hard-nosed people.
Made a fucking movie about him, for crying out loud.
Yeah, exactly. And a movie that did very well in America.
Yeah.
If Everton is the same way, and in the Scouse way, is the people's club. It's the working man's club, right? But you could look all over. If you want to be flash cash and also, living, flying Emirates, apartment on the plane, then support Man City. If that's what you're into, go for it.
And would love Man City.
If you don't appreciate history, follow Man City. That's fine. if you hate yourself, follow Manchester United. You know, I mean, it's a shit show over there. That's yeah. But seriously, every club has an identity. Every club has a story. You know, Portsmouth, a famous Navy town and shipbuilding town, right? And their club fell on hard times, and they've literally picked themselves up from the ashes. They're a Phoenix club. They went out of business, and somebody bought the name and restarted the club. Um, you know, the longest holders of the FA Cup is one of the best facts I can bring up, and no one knows why. No one's ever won the FA Cup 5 years in a row. They didn't play the FA Cup during World War II. Guess who won it in 1939? Portsmouth Football Club. So they were the holders of the FA Cup for 5 or 6 years because of World War II, right? And it's just a little known pub trivia thing that would win me a $10 gift card if it ever got asked for any reason. But like, so all of these clubs have a story. They all have a history. They all have, you know, and they were started as local businesses, as local clubs, and they support the youth in the area. They have these academies, right? U10, U12, U14, U16. They have these teams that the kids in the area play for. And it's a wonderful, beautiful thing. And whatever you find, whoever you choose, unless it's City, I pretty much won't ridicule you because that club had to speak to you somehow.
I think you find too. I said this to you the last time I was on. Murr, was just watch, right? Watch matches.
Sure.
And go into it with a clear mind, watch matches, see who you like. You'll find yourself, because at 10 o'clock on Peacock, there's going to be 5 options. And you'll start to go, yeah, well, you know what? I want to watch this one because I liked watching them play. Mm-hmm. And then you Google them and you learn a little bit about their history. And then you know what? These people are kind of blue collar. Fits a lot of my Baltimore kind of roots. It makes
and
me.
Then you stab yourself because you like what you see.
Or Mr. Graham, please, if I don't say this, it would be terrible. Or you listen to a wonderful show like the DU Football Show, which you just recently. We do this every single year. We have 4 major shows that we do during the summer. The first one is called our Getting to Know You series, and that is to highlight all 3 of the newly promoted clubs. So we had one with Sunderland, Burnley, and with Leeds, and we have supporters of those teams, either in studio or over Zoom. We prefer in studio. And we have them come in, and it is an hour devoted to them, who their rivals are, where they came from, all the shit that they've gone through in their history to get back to this point, which in the case of somebody like Sunderland's very interesting. They're a very big club, very big stadium. They went into really hard financial times and found themselves at the bottom of League One, which is the 3rd division. And it took them damn near close to 10 years to get back up to the Premier League. And there was a whole show on Netflix about it during COVID, Sunderland Till I Die, where we all got to watch firsthand a team plummet down the table and completely implode. Now, the other thing that we do is, it just came out this past Monday. It's a bit of a listen. It's almost 3-hour show, but there's a reason behind it. We take all 20 clubs and we have a single supporter from each one of those clubs, and we preview the whole damn thing. Talk about who they've picked up, who they lost, quick recap of their year prior, how are they going to do this season, and then it is promotion time. Locally, where can you see games? Where can you find them on social media to talk with other fans of the team? And that also helps in your decision making, right? You go out and you find the North American Burnley crew, right? Because you really kind of dig on Burnley. And you get to meet people from all around the country. And next thing you know, you're Zoom partying and watching with other people. Or, God forbid, the team's national meetup happens to be in D.C. or Baltimore, and you go meet some people. And it's, like I said, there's plenty of ways to try to get people to like your club and things like that. But ultimately, it comes down to you. What club speaks to you? Just watch the fucking games. You'll figure it out. Watch the games. And there's plenty of friends of ours who have no skin in the game. They just like players. They like storylines. They kind of root for some teams to do well and others to do bad, but they're not like, ooh, this is my ride or die team. And that's also perfectly okay, because we have that in sports here in America too, where you're just a fan of the damn game. You know, you think of particularly other like college football.
Yankees fans.
Well, college football, we all have our
We
school,
weren't being specific.
love,
Sorry.
but we watch all of college football. We watch it all, right? We may be Maryland fans, but we pay a whole hell of a lot of attention to the SEC because it's fucking good football. It's entertaining. It's fun to watch, right? So same thing can apply to with the Premier League. But like I said, watch games. That's the biggest thing. Watch games.
Everyone watches Army Navy, but if you can, there's certain like, marks in the
incredible.
calendar.
It's
I will say,
incredible.
Fun fact: years ago, I almost became an Arsenal fan, and this is because my favorite football of all time, Dennis Bergkamp, played for Arsenal. And realistically, I mean, really, that just had to do with timing and what I was able to consume. You know, in the late '90s, early 2000s, I couldn't watch games, and by the time English Premier League became readily available here in the States, he had already he had retired and moved on. And at that point, I still considered myself a free agent. So. I guess as we wrap this up and we move on towards Fun Fact Friday, which you guys are going to stick around for, I mean, I would say any predictions, any big pops early on, anything that the common fan or something Murr should watch, should mark his calendar and say, "Yep, right, got to get up early and get the coffee brewed for that one."
It won't be till December, but the Tyne-Wear Derby is absolute positively. You must fucking watch that game. It's Newcastle and Sunderland genuinely hate each other. Like really, really hate each other. And it's been, they had a single FA Cup match that they played against each other. They haven't had one in 9 years. And both sets of fans are itching for it.
Rabid for it, absolutely.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Not to be confused with the Pinewood Derby. I just wanted to make sure you caught that one.
Got it. Thank you.
all the derbies are worth giving a watch, right? So like Graham's is the North London Derby, which
preface that with any derby that has a name.
Yes, is worth watching.
Because technically Crystal Palace Arsenal is the derby. They're both in London.
Yeah. It is.
Nobody really cares. The fans don't hate each other. It's not a big deal. But like Arsenal Chelsea, big time. Chelsea Leeds, massive fucking game. United Liverpool, Leeds and Manchester United. The Tyne-Wear, as Sam said, like those are the games you want to watch.
The North London, which is Graham's Arsenal against Spurs. Again, that's kind of more territorial. Mine, which is the Merseyside Derby, which is Liverpool and Everton. West London. It's
always a very fun game as well.
Yeah, that's because it's one of the most red carded matches in the history of English football is the Merseyside Derby. And there's just always great history to it, even though Liverpool definitely has the upper hand of the two, but it's records go out the window is what happens. And there's multiple times like we as Everton fans would sing, our old stadium was called Goodison Park. We used to sing a song which was "You lost the league at Goodison Park" because they've lost the league to us multiple times at Goodison Park. So we'll sing that to them. The West London is a sneaky great one, which is Chelsea versus Fulham. They're two kind of wealthier clubs, but it's in the early days.
They use that wealth very differently.
Yeah. And also, Chelsea used to be a very kind of bruiser part of town, and now it's kind of the ritzy part of town. It got gentrified as fuck.
Their nickname is the Pensioners.
Yeah. So
they're fans. They're the pensioners.
Finding the derbies are always fun, and also looking up the ones in the lower leagues for somebody like you, Fox, like being able to see the Old Farm, which is Ipswich versus Norwich, or
the South Coast Derby.
The one I was going to get to, much like the Tyne-Wear down in the championship, you have Southampton and Portsmouth, who have not played each other in a derby in
11 years, I think.
11 years. So that's another one that's must watch kind of thing if you're a neutral. The derbies are always fantastic. And there's trap games, right? You go, Everton's playing really hot right now. Arsenal has to go to Everton's new stadium. And Arsenal drew their last game. That could be a trap game for Arsenal because the next week they're playing Manchester City. They might look past Everton. And those are always fun things to look at, too, looking at the table.
Also, you lose a lot of money on DraftKings.
There you go.
Those games.
And this is Everton's new stadium's debut.
Yes.
This okay? Because I know they've been working on that for the last few years. That thing looks beautiful. Yeah, and actually, you had brought this up about the. What did you say when fans from all over the country here in the States meet at a specific city?
Like a meetup, yeah.
They did that in Baltimore. I was invited prior to be, I would say officially, I'm using air quotes, officially becoming a fan. We later migrated to called the Cat's Eye, a blues bar here in Baltimore. I was talking to a gentleman from England who lived in Anaheim, Simon. And I pointed to this old, haggard, just well past her prime drunk broad. And I was like, look, it's Elvira. And he didn't know who she was. He was like, Elvira, it's like... Who's that? And I don't speak the language. And I showed him a picture. It's like, she's done a lot of drugs, though. Anywho, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with Fun Fact Friday. Stick around.
Well, we're just going to have to use our brains.
Damn it. And now, Fun Fact Friday.
Here we go, friends. Time to expand your minds. Time for a little thing we like to call Fun Fact Friday, brought to you, of course, this week by the DU Football Show. Check them out on TikTok, DU Football Show, not just on TikTok, but on all your social media platforms. Check them out. They got the podcast. You can get that anywhere your podcasts are found. What's the number one spot you guys like to send people for what you do?
Streaming, YouTube. We stream almost every Monday night. Then social media, really, our biggest presence would be on TikTok. We also have a closed group on Facebook called Drunken
United FC.
Right, which is where we talk shit and have fun and, just all do, as Mr. Graham likes to say, bants all the time.
Hashtag bants, baby.
And then for podcasts, just wherever you get podcasts. We are on every platform, going into our 8th year now.
Nice. Let's get to it. Sam, 5 fun facts for you fuckers on a Friday. And since we are talking English Premier League football, why not some English facts? Did you know in medieval England, people used to settle legal disputes with trial by combat, where the accuser was literally fighting for their life? They believed that God would protect the winner. So if the winner lived, the winner was innocent.
Sounds like sound justice to me. I mean,
tracks. Yeah, I'm totally down with that. Bring it back. I say.
Right. Yeah. So if you're a bad son of a bitch,
Tyrion Lannister, trial by combat, baby.
Right?
Yeah.
And what blows me away about that is if you think about the psychology of the people that lived at the time, it's like, well, if God be on my side, I shall be victorious today. So you could be the scummiest son of a bitch in the world, but if you're the Conor McGregor of the scummiest sons of bitches in the world, man, you got a good fighting chance of being right all the time.
Yeah, because Catholics are right all the time. You're correct. That's completely true. I'm Irish as well, yes.
Let's also forget people, live to the ripe old age of like 37.
Yeah. The one caveat I want to bringing it back, though, is we all must talk like that. You doth have wronged me. We have to talk like that if we're going to bring back trial by death or whatever.
And I agree.
Trial by combat.
I think I propose that you have to talk like that, and it's got to be in the format of the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie Running Man. Having to gauntlets and things like that. All right. Yeah.
Listen, it's a little too early for me to be getting a chubby on a Friday, okay? That's fantastic.
I mean, you talked about winning the TV audience over. I mean, this is it.
What a great idea that is. Yes.
Do it. And you can do it right in the middle of all the soccer pitches. That's your trials. That's your arenas.
Halftime show, baby. Come on.
Did you know? In medieval Europe, people believed cats were linked to the devil in witchcraft. So they'd sometimes just toss cats off the church towers at festivals, thinking they would ward off the evil and the spirits.
Graham, maybe that's what Kurt Zuma had going for him. There's a player that used to play for West Ham who got a little bit of bad pub because in his house he kicked his pet cat. So everybody now.
The video got shared on social media.
We all give away for Kurt Zuma.
Yeah. He is French, too, so he might just be the Hunchback of Notre Dame locked up in one of them towers. That could be.
I grew up with a couple sick bastards that probably would have thrown a cat off of a roof, and it had nothing to do with witchcraft, just because these people were bizarre and sick, and I mean cold. I mean, cold or flu. I mean, just perverted.
I just want to again remind you two specifically that these are the ancestors of the folks who started the game that you love.
Yeah, no, we know. That's why it's fun. That's why we love this.
They're come on, they're a bunch of colonizing assholes, right?
Right?
It's what they do, right? And now I do wonder because of what you said about cats, we always associate a black cat with a witch during Halloween, right? I wonder if that always came from that it was just always thought of as that animal as being satanistic going along with witches.
Well, just think in popular culture, right? The movie Constantine. How'd he get to hell? Cat's eyes. Cats have always been thought traditionally to be half in and half out of hell. And their attitude suggests it.
I agree. Yeah, they are cunts. And you throw a cunt from the church. They should do that before every soccer match. Right at the beginning of the English Premier League. just
bang.
Yeah, just whip a pussy off the roof.
Yeah. I'm in for that.
But you say it in English, I'd be like, whip a pussy off the roof.
Gotta slang your pussy off the roof. Off the bed. All right. Did you know your stomach lining completely regenerates every 3 to 4 days to protect itself from its own acid, which is strong enough to dissolve some metals? Basically, your stomach rebuilds itself every week.
That is the best news I've heard all week.
That's the best news for every alcoholic.
That is the best news I've heard all week.
Because I'd be dead already. So yeah, I'm glad to hear you're working well down there, buddy. You've got a lot of work to do. It's pretty.
I was gonna say, I think
mine's
half my Lego set didn't disappear on purpose, dude. You're gonna lose it.
If those Star Wars hands on the action figures weren't meant to be chewed, why did they look so damn delectable, man?
Yeah,
dude.
Why did they shine them up?
Han Solo with a blaster guy looked like a cotton candy. Yeah. Actually, there's big there's like 12-inch WWF ones that had like the wire the wire innards. I didn't eat those. I actually just played with those. But yeah, this thing's got ripped to bits.
So
I think the cat ate those.
Yeah, 4%.
Myself. Old Atari 2600 joystick, right? Back in the day when I was a young lad, had the rubber top and I chewed on it. And
careful, this is a family show.
I know. I got the image of you deep throating an Atari 2600 controller.
Either that or up the bum. One of the two.
The old man saw that and then promptly took it, unplugged it, doused it with hot sauce, and then plugged it back in, waiting for me to do it again. And
nice.
You all think I'm big. The old man, God rest his soul, 6'8", 489 pounds. He used to have to turn sideways and bend down to walk into a room. I mean, a giant of a man. And he just sat there in the living room, just waiting for me to do it. And I started nibbling, started crying. He was like, "Not gonna fucking do that again, are you, kid?"
6'8".
Parenting was cool, you know.
Yeah, right.
Now I got to worry about feelings and shit.
Fucking feelings.
God damn.
I felt that hot sauce. I tell you that.
Yeah. I felt that belt long ago, you know. Like, fuck, these kids got it easy.
My old man would actually never hit me ever, just because of how big he was. But he would grab me by my shirt and would legitimately put me where the ceiling and the wall met, like half my body, just like that. Just put me right up.
Nice.
I definitely pissed myself as a little kid multiple times. The old
didn't even have to pull your pants down to do it.
Jesus Christ!
I'd still go through the gate, just right
into the dam. Yeah.
Let's pause the trauma for number 4. Did you know? Did you know naked mole rats can survive up to 18 minutes without oxygen by switching to a plant-like metabolism that uses fructose instead of glucose. They're the only mammals that can pull off this survival trick. So basically, they cannibalize their body in order not to drown, essentially.
Well, in order to know that, I would have to know what a naked mall rat is, and unfortunately, I don't. I'm not familiar with that.
The little hairless fuckers that they have no eyes and they dig in the ground. They got the little flippers for hands.
Oh.
I guess if you try to drown them out, pour water into their into the holes to try to kill them. I guess that's why they do it. Rain as well, probably collapsing if they're digging a tunnel under water and it collapses. Yeah. Makes sense.
It's really interesting.
Yeah, see, this is I like just the theory that we're trying to present. This is the part of the show where Alan starts digging around. We hear
click, 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 click.
All right, here we go. Yeah, but I'm not going to get into that. The theory is better.
I just want to know what sick fucking 18th century fucking scientist grabbed small mammals and held them underwater and timed it. Because that's fucking mole rat. Man, look at him go.
14 minutes is too long, but 12 minutes, he's got it. Yeah. No.
Same fucking one throwing cats from roofs and challenging people to duels to defend their honor.
Yeah, I mean, it is sad. We've done that a lot. We've done it to humans a lot to make advancements in medicine and science, right? Yeah. Do the ends justify the means?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, I thought that was a question.
Ultimately they probably do because we made the advances. If we didn't make the advances, it'd be all for naught. This seems a bit trivial, to be honest.
Well,
and I feel bad for the naked mole rat community. I will also admit really quick that my mind immediately went to sounds like having sex with me when I asked my wife to choke me. But that's neither here nor there.
My mind went to the Ed Harris movie, The Abyss, with the liquid that they breathe. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. The Abyss got banned. I can't remember what reason. They've banned The Abyss from being played on streaming networks now. There's a specific
because of the rat. Titties are just too damn perfect.
Because of the rat. Because in the movie when they filmed it, they actually put the rat in the fluid that has the oxygen in it. And because the rat technically drowns, PETA put up their little fucking PETA flag, and The Abyss is no longer allowed to, or at least that scene has to be cut if they stream it.
But for anybody that doesn't live in the Baltimore area that listens to this, I don't know if you've all ever talked about it, but the dueling over I-83 billboards of PETA and the McCormick Seasoning Company.
Is it McCormick or is it Jimmy's Seafood?
It's Jimmy's Seafood.
It might be Jimmy. It's Jimmy's. It is Jimmy's. I think McCormick footed some of the bill because Old Bay's on it.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
And it's specifically mentioned. And notoriously, it's very hard to get a brand deal with Old Bay. But as PETA had a blue crab up, obviously we're from Maryland. It's the biggest thing in the world. And it said something along the lines of, I'm a friend, not food. Or where do you draw the line, friend, not food, or some shit like that. And then McCormick and Jimmy's had on the other side something antithesis to that, which was very funny. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but
it was really delicious.
Yeah, it's just fucking great. I love that. I love everything about that.
I'd eat my friend's finger if you poured Old Bay on it. I'd chop that puppy right off. Merle, look out.
Yeah,
we're fucking.
Exactly.
Of course we will.
The same PETA people that if they had a mouse in their garage would lay out 16 traps of peanut butter inside, delicious peanut butter inside, to catch that mouse are mad about a movie rat. Get fucked. No one has time for that.
Thank you, and I agree. We have a theory on the show now that PETA is actually an incel of the USDA, that they want to convince people to eat more meat by pissing you off in order to get you to eat more meat. And I think it's a brilliant option.
I mean, that's absolutely potentially true. Yeah, I like that conspiracy theory, and I'm also a sucker for it. I'm falling into it. Because, people go, well, what's the hierarchy? All living things are beautiful. Yeah, there is a hierarchy, though. I'm going to kill a fly. I'm going to kill a spider. I'm going to kill a rat. I'm going to kill a mouse. That's just, it is what it is.
And I'm going to eat half of them.
Yeah. It depends on my circumstances. I might eat all of them. Be that what it may.
Well, speaking of which, finally, did you know In ancient Rome, people used to clean their teeth with a paste made from crushed mouse brains, believing it kept their smiles sparkling.
No wonder the plague was a thing.
Right?
Hey,
No wonder the plague happened.
people used to think opium as longum would like take care of toothaches and shit like that, and put coke in soda, like cocaine in soda. Like there's a lot of weird ass shit we used to do. Because remember, back in the day, water killed you, right? Like the thing they tell you to drink, you could not drink.
Well, I'm just imagining, okay, Rome was the biggest empire in the ancient world. There's some guy that's harvesting mouse brains for toothpaste, and that guy was busy. God damn, how much mouse brain do you need?
Well, you know what's funny about that? You know, Major League Baseballs are all shined or finished with that mud from the Delaware River that's on that one family's property that no one can ever figure out where they live at.
Yeah, so it's somewhere in Jersey. That's all I know.
And they go through what is it, 10,000 or so pounds a year of that mud to polish the balls and shit. I think that's the modern day equivalent of mouse brain, ancient Rome. Is all I'm saying. That's why it took me a second to get back to where I started, but I found it. I found it, and you made me think of that. That was your fault.
There's a difference between filling buckets with mud and cracking mice skulls all day.
I'm
ancient Rome probably had quite a bit of a mouse and rat problem, so you know.
But you know, if you love what you do, are you working?
I'm picturing Big Sam's dad calling him into the bathroom, like, "Look, when you squeeze from the bottom, goddammit, you get all the mouse brain out. That's not done."
There is a world. It's an unwritten fight with my wife and I. I am absolutely like the tube of toothpaste gets pushed down. It's all at one end, and every single time she uses it, just squeezes it. And neither one of us say a fucking word about it. It's just like, this isn't worth the fight. This is just going to be a world where I'm going to do it this way and she's going to do it that way. And neither one of us are going to say a fucking word about it.
Well, you're a better man than I.
I wish.
Plenty
I
of
have a
others
question.
to fight about. That's just the one I decide not to fight about.
Do you think PETA existed in ancient Rome?
No.
Do you think there was somebody going, "Don't kill the mice. We don't need their brains. I'm fine with my fucked up teeth."
Yeah, there may have been someone who was advocating for not using mouse or rat brain as toothpaste. And they're like, "Wait a minute, hold on. There's much more cleanlier things that we can use." But they certainly weren't saying, "Don't kill the mice." It's like, kill those fuckers. I don't care about that.
Exactly. So, I mean, sometimes we just get it right? Like booze. Awesome. We've been doing it for 2,000 years, 3,000 years, right? Killing mice. Awesome. Shut up, PETA.
The other thing you got to remember, too, is who would have been using toothpaste? It's the wealthy class, right?
True.
Because they have the money to spend on it. So who's going to tell the rich people that you shouldn't be doing that, especially in ancient Rome? They'll just be like, if you tell a rich person, "Hey, don't do that," they'll just be like, "Fuck, kill him." You know, they'll just look at a soldier and go, "Kill that person right there. Just stab him. Fucking kill him."
It's really funny how history repeats itself, doesn't it?
Yes. That's at these rich people's parties. They were like, "What is that?" Like, "Oh, these are chocolate chip cookies. Oh, give me more. We got plenty of rat brain to squash this out."
Remember salt. Like, salt was for the wealthy. Things are like, that's if it was hard to get, it was only for the wealthy, and that was it.
And that, my friends, is your Fun Fact Friday.
Hey, you have a bonus fact. This comes from our super fan from both of our podcasts, Keith Kern, who actually emailed in to explain. A couple podcasts ago on Fun Fact Friday, we were trying to figure out why octopi were thrown on the ice after a hat trick. Keith explains, being from Detroit, didn't know that. I saw octopi thrown on the ice a bunch of times and didn't understand much about it either. When the league was a whopping 6 teams deep, the original 6, the playoffs were 2 rounds. You had to win a total 8 games to win the cup. Octopies have 8 legs, and someone thought it was a clever idea 60 years ago. Thus, the tradition began of the octopi on the ice. So there you go. Thank you, Keith, for filling us in. Keith does like to give us little zinger emails from time to time. He actually challenged Murr to go hot air ballooning somewhere in Frederick. I guess got to wait for a windy season, maybe a hurricane or two.
When they stop calling themselves pilots, I'll get on board.
Yeah.
Quick, fun emails. Unlike Graham, how do our emails normally go from Keith? They're like 20 paragraphs.
You get that?
Lost you there. I'm sorry.
I said, how do our emails go with Keith? Because normally they said theirs are to them are like fun, quick little quips.
Oh no, Keith goes in depth, and he's very angry at us usually for not addressing his actual questions. If you could imagine. I'm Sam's done y'all's show before. I'm new to the show. Can I throw you one more fun fact I learned a long time ago in a Reader's Digest?
Sure.
Yeah, Reader's Digest fact. Hell yeah.
And this was from the mid '90s.
Okay.
So it's a real thing, guaranteed. Proper journalism. This.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Did you know?
Incredible. Yeah.
Did you know that if a whale were the largest mammal on Earth were to ejaculate on your face, it comes out with such a force that it would rip your fucking head off?
Wow.
Nice.
And that is 100% true. They ejaculate at a rate of upwards of 125 miles an hour because it has to get through the ocean, through the waves, to the other one, to the woman.
You know, I think I saw
So
a
bang,
few.
you're out.
I saw a few Peter North clips that almost took the woman's head off. But I don't think he has any problem playing second fiddle to the ejaculation of was it a specific type of whale or any of them?
No, just whales. Yeah,
Okay.
just
Wow.
Just whales.
And the best part, well, I'm sure it's like the big one. Like a beluga ain't doing that little thing. You know what I mean? It's got too much of its forehead going. It's, you know, I'm
Sure,
sure.
it pressurizes though.
Yeah, well, it could be. Yeah, just pow, right through and it deflates for a second, then comes back up.
You know,
it might be.
You're taking a dump, you're reading that, and your day gets better. God,
Yeah.
come on, man.
100%. And, you know, I haven't had a reason to talk about that for about 23 years. And I really appreciate y'all for providing me the opportunity.
No, we appreciate it. It's all on our end.
Appreciation's all over our face and our necks.
Because when I go to work tomorrow, I'll be like, did you know a whale can jizz at 125 miles an hour?
Bang, right off.
Yeah, pretty good. Guys, we want to thank you all for jumping on the show. Folks, stick around. We will be back with Before You Go to wrap up this episode of the Middle Class Holes. Take it easy.
Hey, before we move on, we want to take the time to thank one of our longtime sponsors here at the Middle Class Holes, and that is the Shin Splints Recovery Group. Now, if you're a middle-aged white woman who considers yourself a soccer mom or a softball mom or whatever the fuck your kid's into and you're that mom and you just decided you wanted to start taking brisk walks because you're on your life journey for a better future and maybe your tendons and muscle fibers have atrophied from years of doing not a goddamn thing, make sure you visit the Shin Splints Recovery Group on Facebook. They're full of all sorts of like-minded people who don't have a real illness but really want to complain to other individuals, much like yourself, who haven't been active in years and have suddenly created some sort of leg pain that you can't explain. Well, that's why the Shin Splints Recovery Group is there. They have a comment section full of morons like yourself. So go check them out online, on Facebook, the Shin Splints Recovery Group. Now back to the show.
And welcome back to the Middle Class Holes, Foxman and Murr. Thank you, Sam and Sam from the DU Football Show. Check out, if you don't have a team, check out this upcoming EPL season. It's going to be an exciting one. Maybe, I don't know, buy a jersey, hunker down at 7:30 a.m. with some coffee after a hangover. Get silly. Tonight on Before You Go, if you haven't heard, UFC is now merging with Paramount. That's right. Days after completing its merger with Skydance, Paramount has acquired the U.S. rights to TKO Group's UFC for 7 years. Beginning in 2026, Paramount is paying an average of $1.1 billion per year, totaling $7.7 for UFC's full slate of 13 marquee events and 30 fight nights, the company said in a statement. So, long story short, this is going to be the end of pay-per-views via UFC, a bittersweet thing, depending upon how you evaluate the longevity and history of UFC and the grittiness and the kind of underbelly of what this sport was. But $7.7 billion, they're doing something right.
Well, to me, this proves that, okay, I'm going to go down a rabbit hole here. So you just went to Savannah Bananas game at Camden Yards.
Mm-hmm.
Your enjoyability factor doesn't factor into this. They've grown their brand exponentially from what they started at. They put all their games for free on YouTube, but you and I both know that free on YouTube doesn't necessarily mean no revenue, because if people are going, there's ads. The ads create the revenue. Pay-per-view buys are like, man, I hope people are excited for this fight, because the more excited for this fight they are, the more buys they're going to do, and that's the revenue that we get. But if you can convince advertisers that this thing I got, everybody's going to watch it, and we're not going to charge them for it. So we're going, it's kind of strange, because it's almost like we're going back to the thing that we grew up with, like free TV with ads in between. And that's... And it's amazing that what's old is new again, and thank God. Because listen, I have wanted to be a UFC fan, but I've never seen anything that convinced me to drop like the $40-50 to buy the pay-per-views. But the very next day, I will get on TikTok or YouTube or wherever and watch like the highlights of the knockouts or the submissions or whatever the hell's happening. And UFC has been kicking the shit out of boxing, for the last 20 years now?
I mean, it's,
as far as popularity is concerned.
Yeah, it's popularity. It sans a few big boxing events, a few marquee pay-per-views. They haven't gotten to like that plateau that some of these like Mayweather Pacquiao events have gotten. And you're absolutely right. Because to me, I very rarely ordered a UFC pay-per-view by myself. I usually went to someone's house where there was other people at that house.
Sure.
At an event. And to the casual fan, to get it on your own, it seemed like a bit of a stretch. Now, I did that with boxing. Again, a bit apples to pears. I think UFC is doing the right thing here, considering in the last, 5 years, it's gotten easier just to pirate these fucking things, albeit some of it be spotty streaming services and
sure
questionable sources as to where you're getting it from.
Dude,
is this Russia? Don't care.
No, here's what I do. And I guess it's not even really, until 2026, here's your pro tip. Go to TikTok and go to the, scroll over to live and just keep flipping. Now, they won't stay on long, but you'll probably get a round, maybe 2 rounds, maybe an entire fight. And then when that one goes away, you log out of you flip out of TikTok, you log back in, you go back to live, and just keep flipping. You'll find it. It'll be there. And so people are finding ways, because what TikTok's doing, it would be like if I'm sitting here right now, and I just put my phone, and I went like this, like, yeah, guys, what's going on? Blah 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 blah, and you can just see the TV. I don't need to see a crystal clear picture. I just need to see what the hell's happening.
What's happening, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And then tomorrow I'll get the crystal clear picture as the clips start to funnel their way out. Bottom line, I think that you and I have talked about this before. Me, you, your brother, your dad. Like, when ESPN did Friday Night Fights, that was free boxing. If you had...
Well, yeah, it's okay. Hold on. So, yes, ESPN did Friday Night Fights. What you're talking about is HBO.
No, I'm talking.
Okay,
hear me out here.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
Because UFC has done cards that were on ESPN. They were like ultra undercards. They weren't for titles and things, and it allowed you to get to know some of the fighters that were not yet in title contention. Same thing happened with ESPN Friday Night Fights. You got to know guys that were on the cusp. Hey, if they win this fight, they'll be in title fight contention. They'll be number 2, number 3. Maybe even number 1 if they can win this fight on ESPN Friday Night Fights. Then you move to HBO, where there was a slight paywall. HBO was the number 1 premium television channel any which way. So if you had a subscription to that, you're going to get some of the highest quality, best broadcasted fights in the game.
Yeah.
Jim Lampley, Max Kellerman, whether it was Foreman or whoever.
Roy Jones. There was a what's his face? the former cornerman. Damn it, he was Lennox Lewis' cornerman in Tommy Hearns.
Well, either way, but you got these guys that were like at the top of their game, and you weren't paying. Yeah, you were paying $12 a month for your HBO subscription. That you were also going to watch The Sopranos on. That you're going to watch every movie that was just recently out of theaters. Like HBO was the premier channel. It was, and it wasn't going to be $50 for this one thing that might disappoint you, like a lot of the Mike Tyson fights before that. So UFC being in a location that I can just tune into, I'm going to watch every one of them, and I've never bought a pay-per-view. So there you
go. There are some pros and cons of this, and the article that I read earlier today from Yahoo talked about you can't help. But if you were a longtime UFC fan, if you're one of these people who watched the Royce Gracie fights in the 90s, and people from that ilk, like watching it get to a point to where the sport was what it became in like the 2000s, and as of the last few years, now it's gotten to this. You're kind of like, it's lost some of its grittiness. Well, no, it's just gotten so fucking profitable. The one point that I found was occasionally you get a guy who comes up through the ranks in a certain weight class so fast that he deserves a title fight, but because of the way pay-per-views work, you know what I mean? They say like, oh, well, like he's a nobody. He's not going to draw any, he's not going to draw the names. Well, now it doesn't matter. Like, now it's all a paid subscription. So let's just fucking find out, which is the beauty of it. And boxing tried to do this probably 8 years ago. DAZN, and I told you about that. It was like DA, DAZN. But there are so many governing bodies in boxing, unlike the UFC, which is its own contained, monopolized thing, if that's what you want to call it.
Well, you got Bellator, you've got other organizations. It's just the best of the best come to the UFC to prove their mettle.
And DAZN had a good product, and they hung their hat on Canelo amongst a few other fighters. It's just like you get someone promoting one boxer and someone promoting the other boxer, and then it gets into like these negotiations, and they fall apart because people feel like they're not going to get their cut, and it didn't work out.
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Too many cooks in the fucking kitchen, and I mean, fucking, and now that this is Paramount, which is that's Disney, ESPN, right?
That's CBS.
CBS, okay. I mean, now you have a network that's going to likely air a handful of these fights on CBS prior to the paid subscription stuff during like afternoon hours on a Saturday, like 3 and 4, like the fights where no one's in the crowd, and you're like, oh, cool, well, this, and then voila, a paid subscription. I mean,
and you have the number one podcast in the world being, whether you like it or not, folks, old Rogan. Who talks about fighters constantly because he's a commentator on the pay-per-view events. And I've always, Rogan's almost got me there on a few pay-per-views. He's almost made me fucking pull the trigger on a pay-per-view, but I've technically never listened to a Joe Rogan and team, commentate, them doing the broadcast live because I haven't pulled the trigger yet. So now if I got the number one podcast, because he's a part of it, talking about the fights that I can watch essentially for free at this point. I have a Paramount account. Everybody's got CBS. It's a no-brainer, dude. That's fucking revenue. I'd like to see. I genuinely think if CBS broadcasts this, and by the way, TKO, now the owners of the WWE, they've been doing that. They brought back Saturday Night Main Event. It's a boon for these broadcast networks that are failing. This is the only thing successful for them. The only thing successful for broadcast networks now is live sporting events. It's well worth the $7.7 billion to keep the eyeballs on the screens.
And I do have to disagree with something you had mentioned to me earlier. This won't be the death of boxing. I think boxing just needs to understand that there's going to have to be reform.
Yeah. I did it's not necessarily the death of boxing, but that coffin's got a lot of nails in it. I'm just saying, this is just another one being driven in. As far as popularity of the sport, I don't think it'll ever die.
You're right.
But as popularity of the sport, if people don't get to know the fighters, they don't have any skin in the game to go pay to watch, a maybe. I don't know. It could be a good fight. Maybe.
Yeah. I guess I don't know. It's a main event. It's a middleweight championship fight. I know the champion. I don't know the contender. I kind of gun to my head. Not going to be able to tell you. And that is a bit of a shame. And boxing really did it to themselves. I mean, they've really hammered home this point where like there's so many. The point of pay-per-view fights, at least as what I remember, was it need to happen a couple times a year. Now you have, I don't know, one a month, one every other month. And I know the fighters, most common or just like fringe fans don't. And I'm looking at it like, that's not a pay-per-view fight. That doesn't deserve $50-$60 fucking buy-ins. That's fucking ridiculous.
And listen, and let me just state for the record, I love boxing. I do. Yeah. It's just, it's too chaotic to follow unless you are a fanatic. And I don't necessarily fall into the fanatic side of things. Like, I want to, if it was easily accessible, I would be.
It was easier to be a fan when you and I were watching fights in my dad's fucking living room.
Oh, who was like, I can't, like the Serbian Rocky or the Ukrainian Rocky? I can't remember that guy.
Oh, Davydenko.
Him and Triple G were like, those are names that you might recognize, but they were like some of the last names to have fought on basic cable television. Right. And it was like, oh man, this guy's going to be on a pay-per-view one day. This guy's going to be fighting for the title one day. And it came to be, but now that those HBO boxing's gone, ESPN Friday Night Fights has been gone for quite a while.
Showtime's gone.
Showtime's out of it. Like, there's no entry level for anybody new to join the sport. And so if you don't figure out a way to rectify that, like, you can throw... All you're doing is throwing money at advertising dollars. Like, I will say they do slick advertising, like Canelo Anthony, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, oh man, that's a good trailer for a movie right. I'm not going to spend $50 for. But yeah, well,
yeah, they have it's a group. It's called Premier Boxing Champions for Premier Boxing Championship, PBC. But the thing that it is, it's ran by a guy named Al Heyman, who basically says, I'm only fighting fighters under my umbrella. You know, if the money's worth it, I will branch out and we can do business together. But if I'm going to be doing all the broadcasts, all the promotional rights, you got to pay the piper, and it just turns into this fucking like, well, they don't want to play ball. Like, well,
that might be a good thing. Because that's kind of what Dana White Dana White had the luxury of nobody else was doing this yet.
Not K1. Strike Force was the. Was it Strike Force? What was the one in?
Yeah, but the fact that you can't remember tells me that he was. You know what I mean? Like, he got in at the basement. He believed in the product. He kept to it, and he is where he is. He's playing blackjack for $150 a fucking hand. Like, that's this guy. He doesn't need any more money. His legacy is in the popularity of the sport, and through his shareholders. They've made the right fucking deal. And here's a fun fact, an extra fun fact for you.
Sorry, it was Strike Force, and it was Japanese. They had different. It was hold on, no, damn it, it was not.
It doesn't matter. It
does.
It doesn't matter what their name was.
Rocking it up here, lovely.
Pride.
Sorry.
Pride. Yeah. So you had Pride, Bellator. Bellator's still around, and then you got the UFC. Bellator's now
UFC bought Pride, and then Bellator's like kind of the AAA, and then you have a bunch of other regional ones.
And
Pride had like the traditional wrestling ring. It was a 10-minute first round, and they didn't test anybody. Yeah. Some of those fights were fucking nuts.
Yeah, and I've heard that they had some guys maybe like WWE up a little bit in some of those. So, yeah. But look, end of the day, Dana White has trusted his gut. He seems like a not impulsive type of guy, but like, this makes sense. let's not think too hard on it. Let's just do it. And this is, again, he's already got all the money he needs. And I love guys like that. It's like Portnoy. That's why Barstool Sports is so successful. Portnoy's like, I got $100 million. Do I need more money? I'd like to, but I don't need it. So let's just do things that I enjoy. Let's just make it a consumable product for the fans. Like, because I was a fan, which is why I started this whole endeavor. So let's just continue to be that. What do the fans want? This goes back to the beginning of the show. Star Wars. Like, give the fans what they fucking want, and they will stay. They will be loyal. You will make your money. The advertisers will be there. Like, boxing forces it. You have to see this fight. No, I don't. I have not had to see a fight since George Foreman fought Michael Moore. I haven't had to see a fight since then, and that's sad because there's most people that don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about.
30 years ago. Oh, all right. Well, I think that's the time. All the time. Well, you have something else?
I do have
more time. We got more time.
I got a last minute fun fact for you. The reason TKO, okay, this is all related. The reason Shane McMahon had his falling out with Vince over, like, which is why you don't see Shane in the WWE anymore, or didn't for a long time. Shane wanted to buy the UFC from Dana White before it got big, and Vince told him no. And then Shane was like, I'm telling you, man. And then it became what it became. And Shane was just like, you don't know what you're doing anymore, old man. I'm out.
You're smothering your face in Tori Wilson's titties.
So, yeah, well, it's hard to argue.
That is all the time we have for tonight. Thank you, Sam and Sam from the DU Football Show. Check out the this Saturday to mañana. Check out to the English Premier League coming up. God, there's like that. Soon Champions League is going to start. It's going to be fucking FA Cup, Carabao Cup every Saturday morning. Just get up and make your coffee and just get silly. Just get silly.
Bourbon goes well with coffee. All right.
That's right. Or Sambuca or Bailey's, whatever you want. All right. We'll check you out next week. More Middle Class Holes. Take it easy, folks.